Welcome to lesson 1. We will start with the definition of pharmacology. The word pharmacology is derived from two Greek words, pharmakon, which means medicine or drug, and logos, which means study. So pharmacology means the study of drugs or medicines. So now, before we talk about pharmacology, we have to also define drugs. So what is actually a drug? So the definition of drug could be a little bit difficult, because at first thing we can think about is that a drug can do only treatment, but this is not only the case. And so the modern definition of drug could be a drug is a chemical or biological compound which can be used for the treatment, prevention, diagnosis, and also for promoting well-being. So for example, for treatment we are taking Tylenol or acetaminophen, so we are trying to treat some fever symptoms or pain symptoms. And for prevention part, we are using vaccines, so these are also the drugs we are trying to prevent. Say we are taking flu vaccines to avoid flu. And for diagnosis, so we are using one kind of chemicals. It could be like before X-ray, if we take some kind of barium sulfate, this is for diagnosis. And also the fourth one we talked about is promoting well-being, like for example the oral contraceptives. We are taking those oral contraceptives without any disease condition, so it's to promote the well-being. So now, since we have talked about the drugs, let's talk about what are the different kinds of drug names we have. We have basically, for one drug we may have three types of names, like it could be chemical names, it could be a generic name, or it could be a brand name. So first of all, chemical name. Chemical names are actually for a drug is given by the chemist, so it is based on its physical and chemical properties. And sometimes the chemical names are complicated and not used very much. It's rarely used in pharmacology. The next one is generic name. The generic names are less complicated and more commonly used, and they are also a little bit easier to remember. And usually when FDA talks about a drug, they usually say the generic names. And for example, let's give an example, like statins, like simvastatin, atorvastatin. So these are the generic names. Like when we are saying acetaminophen, this is a generic name. And the brand name for acetaminophen will be Tylenol. So the brand name has been given by the manufacturer. So single drug may have multiple brand names because different manufacturers want to brand their product in different names. So how these brand names are actually coming in the first place? The brand names are actually given by the pharmaceutical company because, for example, they were the first to develop these drugs. Okay, so these drugs have been developed by them, and the research have actually taken say 7 or 8 years of research and development, and they have invested millions of dollars. So after that they have exclusive rights to market the product. During say 5 to 7 years, no other company can market the product. So during that time they try to sell the drug with their brand name, and when that exclusive period is over, other pharmaceutical companies can market the drug, and in that case they market the drug in generic name. Since the generic manufacturers didn't have to spend the research and development money, so they can keep the cost of the drug lower. So usually the generic products are cheaper than brand products. So now let's talk about the dosage forms. The drugs cannot be and usually not given as pure drug. They are usually given as a dosage form. So the dosage forms can be usually three types: solid dosage form, semi-solid dosage form, and liquid dosage forms. Let's first talk about the solid dosage forms. The solid dosage forms, the most common one is tablet formulation, and the tablet formulations can be immediate release formulation where the drug is instantly released, or the tablet formulations can be sustained release or extended release, almost same thing. So it means that the drug will be released over a certain period of time. So that's why there are some tablets which are written as they are 24-hour tablet or 12-hour tablet. So it means that the drug will be released for a long period of time. And there are other tablets which are known as delayed release. So delayed release tablets are actually entry coated tablets. So if the drug is not to be released in the stomach, and if it's released in the stomach acid may degrade the drug. In those cases we give entry coating. So it means that the drug will not be released, or the entry coating will not be dissolved in the stomach. So the entry coating will be dissolved in the intestine. So then the drug will be released. So in those drugs which are entry coated drug, we call them delayed release drug. And there are other different kinds of coating, like a coating could be a film coating, or a coating could be sugar coating to mask the taste of the drug. And among the immediate release tablets, there are even more options, like the tablet can be a orally disintegrating tablet, or something which just dissolved or melt in the mouth. The tablet can be sublingual tablet, the tablets which are given under the tongue. The tablet can be buccal tablet, which is just parked inside the mouth. The tablet can be a chewable tablet, which is chewed. And there is also effervescent tablet, which is actually at first put into water, and which release the tablet is usually big, and it releases its content after effervescent reaction. And among the solid dosage form, the next one is capsules. The capsules can be both hard gelatin capsule and soft gelatin capsule. The soft gelatin capsules are usually only for liquid dosage form, where some kind of liquid or oil is given with a capsule. And the hard gelatin capsule usually contains powders or some kind of granules to deliver the product. The next type of solid dosage forms are powders. The powders can be given as for suspension, like powder for suspension, which are reconstituted with water and then a suspension is made. Or the powder can be given in a dry powder inhaler, DPI, or the powder can be even given as a granules, so which can be given with food for children. The other kinds of solid dosage forms are lozenges or gums, like the nicotine gums and nicotine lozenges, which are given for smoking cessation. And there are other kinds of solid dosage forms like suppositories. Suppositories can be two types. They are like rectal suppositories and vaginal suppositories. And the suppositories are usually, they melt at body temperature, so that's why they should be stored in the refrigerator. The next kind of dosage forms are semi-solid dosage forms. The semi-solid dosage forms includes creams, ointments, lotion, paste, and gel. The cream usually is like a semi-solid product which contains oil phase and water phase mixed together, and which has more oil part. And the ointment contains mostly oil part, so that's why it's a little bit oily and difficult to remove from the skin, and that's why creams are easy to wash away. So most of the semi-solid products are topical products, so they are intended to be used on the skin, so cream can be easily washed away, but the ointments are more difficult to wash away since it has more oily part. And so it could be good for some reasons because it provides a barrier for the skin for longer period of time. The lotions are actually one kind of cream which has more and more water part, so it's mostly looks like almost like a liquid. And the paste contains more solid particles, so they become very thick. The gels are also similar to cream, but their appearance looks more clear, transparent, and the drug will be in a solution form inside the gel. The third type of dosage forms are liquid dosage forms. The liquid dosage forms can contain like solution. The solutions we can use it, for example, in case of injection. The solution will be sterile solution. The drug will be dissolved with a solvent. The solution could be also used in a nebulizer, so where the drug is inhaled. And one kind of solution is syrup, so where we have large amount of sucrose or one kind of sweetener to make the drug more palatable. The another kinds of liquids are suspensions. Suspensions contains drugs which are not dissolved in water, so we try to suspend the drug with the help of a suspending agent. So the appearance of the suspension is usually opaque or white, and if you look at the solutions, they are always clear and transparent. In case of another kinds of liquid are emulsions. In case of emulsions, they are actually mixture of oil and water, so that's why they also are dissolved with the help of a emulsifying agent. So we have not talked about, there is one kind of dosage form that is inhaler. So inhalers actually contain, they could be meter dose inhaler. The meter dose inhaler contains usually a suspension or a solution, and there could be another type of inhaler which is also known as DPI, like dry powder inhaler, so that contains the powders. So with that we end our lesson 1.